y'all remember that Warren Buffett had that bet where, with hedge fund managers, where he said, look, I'll buy a fund and I'll go against all you guys. And they did like a $10 million bet or $1 million, whatever it was. And only one guy took him up on the bet. And over the course of time, Warren Buffett won the bet against this hedge fund manager. And all he did was put the money in an S&P 500 fund. Yeah. So it's tough. Yeah, which makes you start thinking, right? We go all of this stuff and time and effort into devising these wonderful plans to beat the S&P 500. And most of the time, if you just bought the S&P 500, you'd have been, better off. The cool thing, though, that I really like about the AIM program is it tells you when to sell, when to buy. So most times, buy and hold, you don't know when to get out or when to buy additional shares. And it gives us a way to capitalize on that. So as we're tweaking this thing, I don't know if we're going to get many signals to buy or sell things. It's just kind of interesting. But I would like to go through what I did yesterday to show you the decision-making process and how it worked yesterday. Now, something is still off with my math. I told y'all this. Let me show you what happened yesterday. So I started making the changes to the account, and I took all of these little buy and sell signals that were generated and got every one of them to a point that it said, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing. One of them said to buy 43 shares, so I did. One said buy 6, so I did. And I was thinking that it would make the entire portfolio 20% cash. Now, this is where I lost my mind yesterday. Let me just show you. But then, apparently, I bought too much stuff, right? I bought too much stuff because my total portfolio, which yesterday was 36, 5, 44, 55, went to having negative idle cash. So that means I've got negative cash, which means I bought too much stock. And it really upset me because I'm like, I went through last night painstakingly over my formula here to go, okay, why are you telling me to only, I said, I'm taking point X or X2, 10.8%. I'm multiplying it by 80% times my total account value. So if I take this, the suggested portfolio allocation, and I multiply that by 80% of my total portfolio, then I subtract out the current value of the stock that I currently hold in UMDD and divide that by the current stock price of UMDD. That should tell me the number of shares to purchase in order to make this be, 10.8% of 20%, of 80% of my total fund. And I don't know if y'all understand a word that I said there because I didn't do it very well. But it was interesting to me. I went over and over and over the formula. I said, yeah, that's the formula. I took it out, I rebuilt it, and copied it down to all of these. But for some reason, when I bought all of my shares, I now have negative cash. So I'm like, okay, here's probably what I'm going to do now. What I'm probably going to do is say, okay, let's be a little more conservative. So now the shares to purchase or sell, I'm going to reduce each one of them by, say, 1 share. So if it says buy 8, I'm going to buy 7. If it says buy 4, I'm going to buy 3. And let's just see what that would have done yesterday if I had done that. Let's see what the current stock price is of all of these deals. So if we take the total, grab me a little box here. If I take the total of these stock prices here, what would that be? So let's go over here and go, let's take the total of those and see what that would have been if I had taken one less stock. So equal the sum of, we'll go C2 through C11 what would that be? 820. So that would have really got close to leveling that out. So, but I don't know why the formula's not working. So when y'all have this and I send it to you, you know, it may be upset because it made me buy more stock than I needed to buy. And I still.
So basically, since your idle cash is negative, that means that you have purchased like 81 or 82% of the total.
Exactly, Rick. So what I need to do is I could either unload some of my cash positions, right? My cash or cash equivalents of $1,000, or I need to come in here and dump a few stocks to get my cash back, you know, to where that's, you know, close to zero as possible. So it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know why the formula is not working correctly. I went through it, and it'll be good for you guys to go through it and just see, you know, hey, what did Bobby do wrong? What have I done to mess it up?
So basically, is that 80% of the portfolio value or 80% of the total stock, or what's 80% of what?
Yeah, so the formula is this, right? So I told y'all yesterday I'd come up with you a variable so you could tell this thing how much you want to keep into stock. So let's go to variables tab, and I added that. What's your desired percentage to be into stocks? And I said 80%. So the formula should be this. Let's look at what the total net lick is, right? 36, 544, 55. So that's the most money that we've got in the account. So let's take it. Y'all be able to see my calculator where I was doing these calculations yesterday. So if you have a total of 36, 544.55, oh, come on. 36, 544.55. That was my net lick as of the end of the day yesterday. So we're going to say we want 80% of that to be into stocks. So we want a total of 29,235.64 to be in stocks, right? Now, keep in mind, we're not counting I've got those yellowed off, and we've got not counting, you know, J and K. So that's the total that we want to be in stocks. Now that's weird too. So look at my total stock value is actually less than that now, right? So then we said, okay, well, what percent of that total that should be in stock is my little allocation thing, 57. Now, if I'm making any mistake at all here, y'all correct me. So let's go over here and see how much we got in there. See, so we've got 3,074.94 in there. So that looks right? So it looks as if I'm okay. I'm at 3,157 is where I need to be, and my stock value currently, if that's, it doesn't look like these are updated, but you know, it looks like that's where I should be. So now I can't figure out why that figure's off. Maybe I'll just, I don't know, it'll drive me crazy until I figure it out. So look, we're saying that we've got 3,074 there. The maximum allocation we should have there is 3,157. And if the case is $153 a share, we see why we're not buying an extra share, right? Because that would put us over the 3,157. So if I look at it here, everything looks right. So where am I making a mistake? Let's refresh y'all, see if those numbers will update. And I separated this from the other spreadsheet in hopes that, you know, we would, it wouldn't be so big and it would, you know, update quicker. So let's just see if that's doing anything. Doesn't look like it. Why don't I save this? Let me close it and open it back up.
Now, you're not pulling those prices from TOS. You're pulling those from Google or Yahoo or something.
On this, I'm actually pulling it from TOS, yes.
So okay, today, this morning, my TOS would not update the spreadsheet. I mean, it wouldn't keep the current price. So I closed the spreadsheet, opened it back up, closed TOS, opened it back up. Basically, I had to restart my computer, and now it's working well. I mean, I haven't seen that before, but it just happened this morning for some reason, and I don't know why.
And that's probably what happens to me before we get together every day. I usually, you know, reset these and to where it's up, but I just came in from being in town, so I didn't do that. But let me just try that real quick. Let's just update everything so we can get fresh data. Matt Jolly Wally come in the door. Look at the boy wonder. Matt's had to be quiet, probably. Hold on. Yeah, just be patient with me. Hope everybody's having a good day, by the way. Oh, someone's trading something.
Oh, yeah. Well, that might have been me.
Hey, that's Ken. One day I learned to tell time. Hey, that's my problem today because we went out to lunch. We went everywhere, Ken. So you're doing good.
Rick, you're looking good in that garden there.
Oh, it makes me want to be there in the garden with Rick.
Yeah. They wrote a song about that, a hymn. Anyway, something happened to me today I want to brag on. For the first time in my life, I got my butterfly, the broken wing butterfly I had on in SPX, went under the tent, under the witch's hat.
Get out, really?
Oh man, I tell you what, it was great. It's like I got into it late on Monday. It was for today's expiration.
Mhm.
So I only got 40 cents for it. And so I got on my 40 cents, and then all of a sudden I looked there to close the trade. It was a credit. And I'm looking on Tastyworks and it goes, extrinsic value went negative. I'm going, holy smokes, I'm under the tent. I'm making money. So I'll tell you what, it hardly gets better that you receive a credit for a trade. And instead of having to buy back at a debit to get out of it, I get a credit to get out of it. So I more than doubled my initial credit.
Hey, that's sweet, Ken.
I
That's
tell you, yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to take the grin out of me today. It was good.
yeah, it feels good, doesn't it? And I tell you, I noticed a lot of discussion in the room about the broken wing butterfly. It's probably the best trade on the table right now. I mean, that's just a great trade. I know some of
Yeah, I
y'all.
was talking with Matt.
Yeah.
I was talking with Matt on the phone just a few minutes ago about that. He had some questions, and then I didn't mean to. I wanted to say this, Matt, but I went off on a tangent. It's right now. It's the spread du jour. I mean, I'm looking on the internet and on the YouTubes and stuff, and it seems everybody and their brother has invented the broken wing butterfly, and you got to go to them to learn to do it and all that. But for once, I think they may have something there. It's really a good strategy.
Yeah, I love the broken wing butterfly. It's doing really well. We've been, putting them on regularly, and every one of them so far has expired at a full profit. I hadn't had one come in the tent like you have, but I mean, that's nice though, really nice. And apparently we're all doing them at different expirations and they're still working, I've been putting them on like from 10 to 12 days. Ken, I think you've been doing like what, 2 to 3 maybe?
Well, one day I was doing it like you were doing. I was looking out 14 days, say 10 to 20, depending on what I could get. But one day I just got the bright idea, said, well, let's do this with the Rick trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pay a little more commission and whatnot, but I got a bigger premium and it's more stable. And I like it. It works good with the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It works good.
I'm glad that's working out really, really good. Rick, how are you doing with the Rick trade? You still doing the Rick trade, right?
Yes, sir. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You betcha. It's going well. No problems. Making money all the time.
So with my Thinkorswim, go ahead, Matt.
So I was just going to say that based on what I was looking at, it doesn't take much buying power to do the butterfly either, at least in Tastyworks.
Well, that's the good thing about it, Matt, is that you can make it as wide or as narrow as you want to, which is really good. So I kind of like what Ken said.
So for a smaller account like what I have, that could be my, 1 week, 1 trade a week trade.
Yeah, I like that. And it's a high probability trade, which is the good thing. It's a high probability trade. you're probably using what, a little under $500 in buying power. It's beautiful, just beautiful. Yeah, Tom's doing them on the call side.
Also,
Go ahead, Ken.
so am I.
Yeah, you're doing them on the call
Now
side.
you're saying so am I. But I try to make it a full, instead of having just one, I like doing it a put and a call, and I make my Batman helmet. You know, I want to see, you know, and that works out good because when one's in trouble, the other's not, and you end up increasing you get more premium that way, and it's not much more risk. In fact, this often it's less risk, and but I'm not afraid of the calls because of the way the spread is. This is, you know, it's going to have the same max loss. You just got to have some idea of what would happen if, you know, and the bias, of course, is we're in a raging bull market. And so, you know, you want to stick your calls out a little further. I go with the expected move and the guide where I put these things. And touch wood, it hasn't burned me yet on the call side. I don't know about Tom's experience, you know, playing with the calls.
Yeah, it's a great trade. Hey, have y'all noticed that people aren't talking as much about the wheel lately? Have you noticed that? You talked about the trade du jour, right?
Yeah.
Thing. But, you know, that's been the biggest thing over the last year that I've seen is everybody just talking about the wheel and the wheel and the wheel. But it seems like I'm hearing less of that now. You know how the crowd, you know, follows, you know, the newest, greatest thing. And I didn't know if y'all had kind of seen that same chatter, you know, leaving.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, the wheel strategy isn't all that good if you're in a bull market. It needs a sideways market.
Right.
You know, don't go stick it in the attic. Just put it back on your tool shelf and take it down when the conditions are right.
Yeah, that's the greatest thing is to be able to have that to where in your pocket where you can, you know, bring out, you look at the market conditions and you bring out what seems to be working. Yeah. And that's why we're learning a little bit of a lot of different strategies, you know, rather than saying, man, we're just connected to this one thing and we're going to do this one thing for the rest of our life. And then it's going to work in up and down and sideways markets. It's good to try everything, you know. I mean, we'll probably be doing ratio spreads at some point. We'll probably doing, you know, other different things. There's tons of different trades. Calendar trades, they have their place. We've done diagonals. You've seen those work, I think, really, really well. And we're still playing with the AIM. Ken, before you and Matt came in, I told everyone that, you know, you think you're a genius one day after you made the adjustments in the AIM portfolio, and the AIM portfolio seems to be doing really well today. So the net lick is 36,904. It's up $1,900 in profit, 360 today. And then I said, well, how is that going to compare to what the S&P is doing? So this account is up 5.44% in what? 15 days, which, you know, is that going to last? Probably not. But in this account, we're comparing it to the S&P 500. So you see the last 2 days, it's underperformed. So what I did yesterday, I shared all the trades, y'all, and I actually used the allocation tab here to make my, look at this. It's actually telling me to do stuff. That's weird. I didn't add anything in. So, you know, the only problem yesterday, Ken, and this drove me crazy, is, you know, saying I should do 10.8% of the 80% of the entire portfolio. So that's what I did and did exactly what it said. The only problem was when I came back in at the end of the day, I had negative idle cash. So it actually seemed like it took more than 80%. But see, even there, it's saying the whole thing is 80% now. 29,564 is my stock value. It's 80% of my overall account, 20% is in cash. So it's saying that it's correct. Now, here's the deal, though. That 80%, it doesn't include these two boogers here. Right? So maybe the scoop or the thing that I need to do is cut out some of my cash that's sitting in there, or follow the directions and sell a few shares here in a couple of them to get my cash back to effectively zero. And I played with that formula last night for hours and hours and hours until it drove me to death almost. And I went to bed and I dreamed about it. And as I was telling the rest of the guys, that I came to the thing in my sleep last night, which is probably not good, is that what I should probably do is take the recommendation and drop it a share. So if it says buy a share, I probably just keep it, if it says sell 2 shares or buy 3 shares, I may need to buy 2. I don't know. But when I share this with y'all get to play with the formulas and see whatever. And also I did take the thing in the variables yesterday and said, okay, what is your desired percentage you want to keep in stocks? So you don't have into a huge long formula. The formula will automatically pick that up. So if you say, I want to do 50%, 70%, 67%, whatever, it will accommodate you. But I thought it
So
would
the
be
rest
good.
of so the rest of the spreadsheet is linked to the variables. So if you change the 80,
Yep.
it'll change it on everything.
Changes it on everything. So this is kind of a behind the scenes thing that I'm using to do the, so Rick, you could change the weights on it, okay, if this stock outperforms the S&P on a 5-day basis, how big do you want to reward that? I rewarded that with a 1, if it didn't, a 0.75. But you could say, man, I'm going to penalize you if you don't beat in the last 5 days the S&P, and you could say, I'll give you a 1 if you do, and I'll give you a 0.2 or 0.25 if you don't. Same thing with the big green monster. If you're oversold, I'm rewarding you because I think you're going to go up. So I'm going to allocate 0.75 to you. If you're just in the fair value, 0.5. If you're overbought, I think you're going to go down, right? So I don't want a lot of allocation of proceeds going to you. So you can change these rewards and punishments, I guess, for lack of a better word. What I told Beth this morning, we were going to lunch and I explained it to her this. I said, we've got 10 race cars, right? Here are our 10 race cars. Now, it can be whatever race cars you want, right? Matt's got in his fuel cell, so he may only have 5 race cars in his account. But, I would say 10 is good, gives you good diversification. And at all times, I'm the owner of all 10 of these race cars, right? So I'm the, what's his name? The guy that coached at Washington. What was his name? That owned all the, didn't he pass away, by the way? Anyway, I'm not a big NASCAR fan, so I don't know. But anyway, the Hendricks Motors, or that guy, that owns all these race cars, we own all 10 of these. So now we got to say, we're going to the Daytona 500. And if I have to put my money into one of my teams that I think is going to win over the next week, who is it going to be? And that's basically what we're doing. It's saying, who are we going to invest in? So this is telling us, put money into this, take money out of this. Bobby, you need to be putting money into UBT. There's a good chance it's going to outperform over the next week. But we need to take money away from AGQ, the silver, right? Silver is going to underperform in the next week. And so is UCO, the oil, I think that's oil, is going to underperform. So we're going to take 3 shares away from it. So it's all an allocation game where we're allocating to these things. But what I thought we would do today, if you'll indulge me, is I wanted to go through what I did yesterday and just to show you how much time it takes. So if you've got an AIM portfolio, we've got the beta already pulled in, and you'll have this spreadsheet that'll probably already do it. If you've got a different version, then we may have to change this up for you to get it to pull from Thinkorswim. And if anybody needs that set up, then we can do that one-on-one. So you're getting all those beta figures in. And then the formula basically ranks your beta, right? So then I'm taking the 5-day return of all these stocks. Well, let me show you where I'm getting that. So everybody's aware of that. So I've got all 10 of my race cars. Here we are. The Daytona 500 starts right here, and they're off. Boom. This one kicks off to an early lead. But what does he do? He comes back. Then the UCO is out to an early lead. UCO is outperforming everybody. Put your money on UCO. Well, what is this? This is on a 1 year. So we're talking now, the earliest one that we're talking about is the 5-day. So here we go. In the 5-day, UCO is pulling up, right? TQQ is in second, URTY, UPRO, and then on and on and on with all of their various different performances over the last 5 days. So these are the numbers that I'm first feeding into the spreadsheet. And I want to go through that so everybody knows how to do that. And then we'll definitely have this spreadsheet shared to you today so you can do this. But I wanted you to see this. So what are the 5-day returns? Well, let's look at it. UMDD is saying it's flat. All right, so I put a flat there. Right? UBT is, I'm looking on that little spreadsheet that's off to the side here. UBT, what the devil is it? UBT is 0.06, 0.06%, not 6%, 0.06, I don't think. Yeah, 0.06%. So ULE, it's just got it flat as well. So AGQ is a negative 1.27%. And we go URTY is 4.13%. Then it goes Q's, TQQQ is at 2.92. Kind of cool how in the short term these things change drastically, right? So UDAL is 4.23, and UGL is negative 2.24, and UCO is 12.74%. Wow, what a move. Then we'll go UPRO is at 3.89. And then you need to put in also the performance of SPY. SPY over the last 5 days is at 1.29. Okay. So then this thing automatically ranks them, right? It gives it a percent rank from the highest here. Well, here, right? Highest is UCO, and it weights it higher. So next thing that I do is I go to the 1 month return. So let's go back to our little chart. I wanted to show you that it doesn't take a lot of time to input this, especially if you're going to do this once a month or you're going to do it once per week, whatever your time frame is. All right, so here we go. Get on the 1 month chart, and here's our horses or our race cars, and they're off. Well, all of a sudden we got someone just dropping, man. That's URTY. It's just, you know, and then the TQQQ should be rewarded because, you know, it's ahead of the game. That's the race car we need to be putting the premium gasoline Sunoco in, right? And, you know, you put your regular unleaded down here and your mid-grade into this one. So we're allocating funds based on their performance. So let's enter those numbers in. Again, it doesn't take long at all. So we go to the 1 month return of UMDD. And that's negative 0.4. UBT is 1.88. One second. Yeah, 6.4. All right, or ULE is 0.20. AGQ is negative 6.79. URTY is the one that's falling behind everybody, negative 12.53. TQQQ is the leader of the pack, 22.15. UDAL is 10.12. UGL is ugly, 0.04. UCO is negative 1.49%. And finally, UPRO is at 16.07%. Okay. Then it provides the ranking for all of those, right? So the highest one on the board is UPRO. So it gets the, well, no, it's actually TQQQ. So it gives it a 91%, followed by UPRO at 82. So now let's go to the 3 month, and that's a simple thing too, right? Same old deal, just doing the. So I could see Beth doing this. I don't want to make it too hard for her. This may even be too much for her. So we'll have to simplify this for her. So I hit the 3 month chart. Now let's see how everybody's doing. UCO in the lead, UBT down at the bottom. So let's enter those percentages. See how all those horses are doing. So 3 month returns. UMDD is UMDD 17.44. No, 28.69. All right, because these are all comparisons, right? So this changes, you know, a good bit. So 3 months on UBT, negative 18.5. And ULE is negative 3.53. AGQ, negative 5.18. URTY, 10.95. TQQQ is 16.09. UDAL, that's one I like. That reminds me of watching Leave It to Beaver back during the day. Hugh, what was his name? Hugh, Tony Dow, and Hugh Beaumont. Put them together and you got UDAL. All right, 27.25 for that one. UGL. And I think with all these different colors we got over time, we'll start learning them by the colors on the screen. Maybe 13.32. And I'm working on a way, and you know there's a way that we can get these values to auto-populate some way. So we got to figure that out, right? And I think we can do that. UCO 43.48, followed by UPRO at 25.74. Okay, so then it does the same thing, right? It provides a weighting to all of those. UCO gets the highest weighting for there. All right, so then it tells you if the thing has been outperforming the 5 day, and it comes up with a value there. And it converts this to numbers. So then let's go quickly to the big green monster, right? And quickly see if any of these have changed. I just wanted to show you how quickly you can do this. And let's say start with UMDD. So let's pull up our screeny here in Thinkorswim and go to UMDD charts. And we want volume profile because I've already got the green monsters and that's the easiest place to see it. Volume profile. One day I'm not going to have this stupid Thinkorswim open anymore, and because it is just so slow on my computer resources. Come on, baby. It just freezes on me. Let's give it a second. Give it a second. I'll be pulling in anything from Google Finance as I can and do away with this. And that's why I think that I'm slowly but surely moving over to Tastyworks. And that's why I'm not putting a lot of new trades on here until I see if Tastyworks is going to be a booger for me to transfer my account or not. So they're looking at my application right now. So let's go down, see if we can get the stupid volume profile to open. Come on, baby. Come on. All right, here we go. So we said we're going to do UMDD. If there's anything else I can close, that'll speed this up. Well, I don't need my little chart with TradingView anymore. Let me close that browser. There we go. All right, let's see if that'll speed it up some. UMDD. Rick, anyone ever tell you kind of look like, Beth, who did I say I look like the other day? What's his name? Sean Connery.
Oh, I wish.
You look cooler than Sean Connery. We went to Waffle House yesterday and a guy come in. I mean, he looked like he'd just been at the beach. He was wearing this, what is that cat called, Beth? I don't know hat names. He had this cool hat on though, and he had this like beach shirt on and these funky pants. And I told him, I said, dude, that is the look I wish I could pull off. And the Waffle House cook said the same thing. So we were kindred brethren at the same time. So UMDD, where are we? Someone tell me where this is. Here's the big green monster. There's a 50% line. Everybody know, I want to make sure you know where this is. Over, not over easy like we ordered our eggs yesterday, but over.
Overbought.
Overbought, right? It's over the fair value. So we're going to punish UMDD for being overbought because we think there's a tendency to pull back into this area. So let's go UMDD and let's call UMDD is now overbought. So it gets punished, right? It went from 50% to 25%. Now let's go to UBT. We could publish this in the Wall Street Journal and nobody would follow this, right? Nobody, anybody, everybody would say, oh my gosh, what kind of craftery have you got going on? So we know this is the fair value area here. This is overbought. This is oversold for the fair value above. So we're going to reward it for being oversold and thinking that there's a good chance that it's going to pull up there. Oh man, I should have done my moving average lines too. Let me do that while I'm here. So UBTT is in the not overbought, but the oversold. So let's do that. All right, same as yesterday. Now, well, I do need to look at linear regression. We'll change that up later. Now let's look at the 20, 50, and 200. Are we above, and above it? Let's see. So let's go back to our chart. We are above the 200. We are, here's the last price, above the 50, but it's below the 20. So below, above, above. So let's go get that. 20 EMA is below, so it's going to get punished, right? But it's above and above there. Okay, good. So let's go back to UMDD and get that information. So I've set this one chart up so we can get all this information on one chart without having to go, from one thing to another. So UMDD looks like it is above all three, right? Prices up here is above the 20, above the 50, and the 200. So let's give it credit for all those. 20 above, above, above. Good. All right, so now let's go to ULE, the big green monster on ULE. Because I don't want to overcomplicate this. In other words, put as much of this stuff in there, but I'll tell you this, it worked great on this first day. Fair value, overbought, we are oversold almost into the fair value. So we're going to call this oversold. So it will get rewarded for being in an oversold state. Let's go get it. Yep, oversold, so it gets a mark of 75, right? Now, what about the 20, the 50, and the 200? Let's see. Above, I don't see a 200. All right, maybe it doesn't have a 200. I'll just give it an above. I definitely don't think it's above there. So we'll give it above, above, above. Above, above, above. Good. Now we go back to AGQ. So you can do this really quickly. And of course, I talk too much, so that's the problem. So here's fair value. We are overbought. It's going to get penalized for that. And it's above, above, above. So overbought, above, above, above. Overbought, above, above, above. And we go to URTY. Beth, could you do this? She doesn't sound interested at all. Fair value, overbought, oversold. Oversold, above, above, above. We go back. And overbought, above, above, above. And I really do think the day we'll have this where we're all, we don't have to do this every day. We'll automatically have these values pulled in some way, somehow. There's somebody out there that can do this. Ken, I think you can do this. Figure out how to do this. So now we're in the fair value. We are below, below, above. Fair value, below, below, above. TQQQ, so that's going to get it penalized. Fair value, below, which penalizes it, below, which penalizes it, and then above. Okay. All right. So then we go to UDAL. UDAL. UDAL is above, 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 and we are in fair value. Fair value above, above, above. Fair value above, above, above. Got it. UGL. So I hope y'all see it. This really doesn't take a lot of time once you got your big green monster down, right? So UGL, we're in the fair market. We're below, below, and above. Fair market, below, below, above. Fair market, below, below, above. Fair market, below, below, above. Below, below, and above. Then we go to UCO, which I do believe is the oil fund. Let's see. A friend of mine had some strangles in oil, and he's glad he got out because of the big move. Pro shares, ultra, something, something, something. All right, so where are we at? Above, 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 and we are in fair value. And this means that's overbought, oversold, fair value. So fair value, above, above, above. Fair value. And then above, above, above. So for last one, go to UPRO. So we want to do this like once a week, right? Once a week, once a month. So you're not doing this every day. You could do it every day, but you don't have to. So we are in the overbought, and we are below, above, above. Overbought, below, above, above. Overbought, below, above, above. Overbought, below, above, above. Now, the only thing that we didn't do is look at linear regression. I should have known I shouldn't have shut down my little thingy here. So let me open it back up. Now, you got to figure out what time frame that you're looking at for the above, 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 right? Or not for the above, above, above. We were using the 10-day on the 2050 and all of that, 10-day, 30-minute look back. So on this one, why don't we look at it on a 3-month? And let's go, give me just a second. 3-month, we hide that, hide that. Let me pull it over here, you're gonna see what I'm doing. Now I need to save these charts so I don't have to hide these every time. But for the time being, I'll just hide these different little boogers here. So we'll hide, 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 hide. And I'll save it. I'll need to save it as a different chart, right? So this is a 3-month. So do it on a 3-month, do it on a 1 month, do it on a 5-day. But I figure a 3-month trend is probably bigger than a 1 month or a 1 day, right? So we'll try UMDD, see what it looks like. Is it up, down, or sideways? Well, that looks up to me. So we go back to our spreadsheet and we say linear regression says up. Then we'll go to UBT. UBT says UBT is downtrend, easy to see. Down, right? And these probably haven't changed from last time I did it, so, but we're going to do it anyway, just to show you how to do it. ULE, ULE. The euro is up to sideways. What would you call that? We'll call that sideways. ULE, instead of calling it up, I'm going to call it sideways. All right. AGQ. AGQ. AGQ is sideways, right? All right, URTY. URTY is up. Linear regression up. ERTY is up. TQQQ is up as well. Didn't figure that one changed. UDOW, I'm sure that's up as well. But let's look at it. UDOW has a upward slant. All right, then UGL, ugly. UGL is sideways. UCO. So once you got your green monster drawn, you know, and you don't even have to include green monster if you don't want to. I think it's important. So what is that? Is that up or sideways? You know, I can go either way on that one. What we call it up? Oh man. All right, hold on. Up. Oh, why is it not giving me my value? Unbelievable. Hold on a second. Let me put sideways. I got to fix that. All right. Little error there. UPRO. UPRO is going to be up as well, isn't it? Or sideways. UPRO. UPRO is down. Look at that. Okay. Got a downward leaning. See if it'll let me type in down. There we go. All right. So now we've got everything done. We got all the information in, right? And we're going to hide all these converted things so you don't have as many columns to worry with. You can hide all that garbage. You just need the input ones open. So then you come over here and it now tells you, you know, what to do, right? So it says buy 3 shares of UBT, tells you to buy 2 shares of ULE, sell 5 shares of AGQ, buy 3 shares there, sell 3 shares there, buy 1 share there, sell 6 shares there, buy 3 shares there, and do nothing. Isn't that cool? I guess you could do this every day. I mean, that'd be a lot of trading, but Ken, that may get you the excitement you want to do if you want to do that every day. So who knows what, I mean, we have not tested this enough to see what the ideal time frame for adjustment is. I'm thinking that I'm going to be doing it weekly. So I did it yesterday. So there's really no need to, you know, to take the adjustments, I guess, today. I guess there's no need that we have to do that. But isn't it cool that it tells you, you know, what to do? And keep in mind, we're not getting any indication from the original, you know, AIM system to do anything, right? All we're saying is, hey, let's put our money on the hot hand. You know, we're looking at what's going on over the last 5 days, last month, last 3 months. Then we're looking at 10-day data and the 20, 50, 200 moving averages. We're taking in a lot of stuff, and it's basically telling you which horse to bet on. Gosh, is that cool? Now, I did this yesterday. I took this advantage yesterday. I really did. And then we go in here and we see, well, now my profits are going down, but we see that it's what, $216 for the day, which is pretty sweet. It was 300 earlier, and it was over 400 earlier. So maybe I should take this suggestion, right? Maybe the horses that I bet on yesterday are falling to the wayside. So maybe we need to take these and to do it. I don't know. It's just, it's an interesting concept. Who's got any questions on that at all? Anybody excited by this or blown away? Is it too much?
It is exciting. It really is.
I think it's exciting, Rick. If you think about it in the race car analogy, right? The race car, you know, is 500 laps or 500 miles or whatever it is. And you go, you know, just because you start out strong doesn't mean you end strong. And so it allows us to bet on the overperformer. And we're using data from 3 months, 1 month, 5 days. We've got it weighted. We're using Big Green Monster. We're using linear regression to make our decisions and the moving averages. I think it's brilliant. I don't know if it'll outperform the S&P 500, but let's try it and see. All right, well, someone type something into chat. Let's see what we got here. Joe Gibbs. That's right, Jim. Joe Gibbs. Did he die? I'm thinking Joe Gibbs died. I used to love him. I thought he was a great coach of the Washington Redskins. Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. I can't play on the Redskins anymore. Unbelievable. I asked my daughter today, I said, did y'all play Cowboy and Indians today? And she, I mean, like I was a fool. Like she ain't never heard of such. And I'm like, man, I remember used to being all the time playing Cowboys and Indians. I mean, it was nothing fun. But now if you call someone an Indian, you know, you're a racist or something. So I don't know. I can't even drink Coke anymore. We've been drinking Pepsi. I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, Coke doesn't like, you know, me and my family, and y'all think we're too white or something. You can't drink that. Jesus, what a weird world we live in, right? And y'all, I hate to tell you, but I am not politically correct. So I don't care. I don't care if people hate me, talk about me, call me something bad. I'm just going to be myself. So maybe I will take this, you know, maybe I'll try to work on it on a daily basis and see if I should take these things. Why don't we do that? Let's take a couple trades just for the heck of it. Let me do that. And we'll work on it. We'll see what this thing says. It may say, man, you're using too much cash now or whatever. But let's work on this and see if we can take some of the recommendations here. So it says to sell, you do nothing to UMDD. We're fine, right? So it says buy 3 shares of UBT. Okay. Let's go to UBT and buy 3 shares. UBT. I don't even know what UBT is. UBT. We're going to buy 3 shares of UBT. Here we go. So we go to ask. Not buy 100. We're just going to buy 3. View and send it. Okay. Sweet Bobby's Field. We bought 3 shares. All right. Now we're going to buy 2 shares of ULE. Watch it say I'm going to be using too much margin and all kind of garbage. We'll have to figure this out. But I think it's good we figure it out together, right? So let's buy 2 shares of ULE. ULE. Buy 2 shares. Oh man, those are cheap shares. So we can definitely buy those. That won't take much money. So buy 2 shares of that. Review and send. See. Here we go. We bought 2 ULEs. All right. Then it says to sell 5 of our shares of AGQ. Okay. We'll listen to you. Only one way to find out if this thing works, you know, is to do it, right? AGQ. Make sure I got the right symbol because that one always messes me up. AGQ. And AGQ says to sell 5 shares. Okay. We will do it. So we'll go bid. So we're selling 5 shares. Filled on those. That'll add money to the cash account, right? Okay, we're filled there. AGQ. So then we go to URTY. We got to buy 4 shares. URTY, buy 4 shares. URTY, buy 4 shares. URTY. Let's buy 4 shares. Look at us. We are behaving and doing what we should. TQQQ. We're going to sell 3 shares. Okay. TQQQ, sell 3 shares. TQQQ, sell 3 shares. So we go to the bid. That'll get us some cash. Bid. I say we go to the bid. There we go. We sell 3 shares. I like these quick fills that we get in Tastyworks. All right, so we sold our 3 shares there. We're going to buy a share of UDAL. Buy a share, so we click on the ask. Just 1 stinking share, people. 1 stinking share. And we're in. UDAL. We're going to sell 6 shares of UGL. I don't know about y'all, but this is fun. We'll sell 6 shares. 6. That'll bring us in some money. Okay. Sell those. We're going to buy 3 shares of UCO. UCO. Going to buy 3 shares.
What you doing?
Okay. Let's see what we look like. And then we do nothing on that one. All right. Now, why don't you and I now go put this in to our AIM activity and see what it looks like. So when we put it in, theoretically, it's going to come back now and it's going to, change all of our stuff that we've done. So let me get that activity page. Let's see. Close that down. Get activity page so we can enter these trades. Still, I think even with all this, there's no reason you still couldn't do this in an hour, right? So let me go to activity. We're going to do the field trades. All right, so let's start off and do it. So our first trade is we're going to do UCO. Okay. And what did we do? We bought how many? 3 shares. Bought to open at 60.09. So we bought 3 shares on the 14th. Trade price was 60.09. And see how much that cost us. Was 180.33. So if we bought, that was a debit, right? 180.33. All right. So then what you would do is this new capital rebalancing. I added the word rebalancing or new underline, and it is rebalancing. Now, if this had been a signal that we got under the Lacello system, it would not be rebalancing. You would put no, but because we are rebalancing, we're rebalancing on the cars, then we certainly got to make that change now. So then we pull this one down as well. So that should be what, 0.2? Yep. All right, so that's our UCO trade. So now let's go to our other one, UCO, then we did UGL. UGL. And what do we do in UGL? We sold 6 shares and we got filled at 4/14/21, and we got filled at 55.56. What was the total credit there? We got selling us a 333.28 credit. So remember, you got to make that negative, right? If it's a credit. So 333.28 was the credit we received from that. Yes, it was rebalancing. Let me just pull these down. And I'll pull this down to see what our streak is. Okay. So sell 1. All right, beautiful. What's wrong, Ben?
I watched that video from the cops.
Oh, from the cops? Yeah, we had one of our wonderful police officers that passed away. I was good friends with his son in high school, and he was the chief of police in my little hometown of Ranburne, Alabama. And then we had a shootout that's got a couple of our officers in Billerica in the hospital. So it's just been a weird couple of days in law enforcement around here. All right, so we got UCO, we got UGL. All right, let's go to UDOW as our next trade. UDOW. What do we do in UDOW? We bought 1 share, so that's +1. We did it on 4/14/21, and our trade price on UDOW was 137.45. Oh crap! Yeah, that's right, 137.45. And what was our debit on that one? On UDOW, 137.46 debit. And we'll put yes. Pull these little puppies down. I could pull them down several, I guess, at a time, but I'll just do it one at a time because that's the way my mind processes it best. I don't want to see errors until we get there. There we go. So we've sold that, or we bought 3 times in a row with this one. So we've got a string. Our streak is 3 in a row of buying UDOW. So we're increasingly adding money to the UDOW position. All right, now we go to our activity, UDOW, TQQQ, TQQQ. What do we do in the TQQQs? We sold 3 shares. So -3. 1421. And on UDOW, we got, or TQQQ, we got filled at 106.91. And selling would have given us a credit of, see, I could do this when I was doing it, I guess, but this is fine. So it gave us a credit of 320.69. Beautiful. Was it a rebalancing? Oh, yes, it was. And we pull these down. As Matt showed me the other day. Matt, how you like that? You can teach an old dog new tricks, right? So we've got a streak of selling, right? That's our first sale. Last time must have been a buy. All right, so we go back to our activity tab, TQQQ. So that means URTY. What do we do in URTY? We bought 4 shares. 4, 1421, and we bought URTY at 110.71, which gave us a debit of 442.84. And yes, rebalancing, and copy those down. See what the streak is on that one. So we've bought 3 times in a row. Cool. All right, so we'll go back to activity. That was URTY. AGQ. What are we doing? AGQ. AGQ. We sold 5 shares. So -5. We did it on 4/14/21. And AGQ, our fill was 44.36, which gave us a credit of 22174. I don't like that looking, but it looks different. All right, we pull those down, see what our streak is. That's our first time to sell. It's the last time we bought, so then we're selling. AGQ, we're almost finished, y'all. Activity, AGQ, now ULE. I know y'all are saying, man, I ain't doing this more than once a month. I got you, right? I did it 2 days in a row. So here, we bought 2 shares. And ULE, we got filled at 15.07. And our total debit is $30.14. All right, big money. Big money. What's our streak? Oh, heck. What's our streak? Pull it down. Oh, we've been buying in that, haven't we? Cool. And that way, it's kind of cool to go and see what has price movement done in ULE that is making us buy and thinking that it's becoming stronger and stronger, and kind of see if your system looks like it's doing good. And the last one is UBT. What do we do in UBT? We bought 3 shares. So we bought those at 47.22. And our debit for that was 141.66.
Hey, Bobby, couldn't you just, on that debit credit, couldn't you just do a formula of multiplying D times B?
Yep, I could. And there's only one weird thing with Tastyworks, though, Rick, that I hadn't quite figured out yet, and I need to. But the reason that I'm not doing that is there's like a penny or a couple penny fees on some of these that makes it off a penny or two. I guess it may be, I don't know. And I got to figure that out. If I could formalize that, that's why I hate that, though. You know, it's kind of like the SPX problem we have on Thinkorswim, is they charge a different little fee on some of these, and on a couple of these it's like 2 cents or 3 cents, and I hadn't figured out the schematic for it yet to put it in a formula. But that, you're exactly right. It would be great to do, you know, hey, here's the number of shares, here's the price, and automatically calculate. And I'll work on that. I just need to figure out how they're adding that penny or taking away the 2 cents, or maybe we don't even need to worry with pennies on that. But yeah, very good point. Very good point. If y'all know what their little algorithm is that does that, I would love to know. All right, so y'all, we log this in. So how often are we going to do this? We're going to do this every day? I don't know. It takes a while, doesn't it? Or we're going to do this once a week, once a month, once every 3 months. That's up to you, right? See what works for you. But now let's go to the allocation tab. And magically, it says do nothing, do nothing, do nothing. Bob, you have done everything you can, my friend. You have. Joe Gibbs is still with us. Awesome. I don't know why I was thinking he had passed. All right. So do nothing, do nothing. Now here's where I got in trouble though last time. I'm scared to almost go back to the tab to see how much our cash is. What's our negative cash be? Negative 5,000. And then what, Beth?
I want to get the kids. Lily's staying here.
Okay.
Lily's on the bed.
All right. I'll watch her. Be good. So we got a profit of 1904. We're up 5.44%. Now I'm gonna go to the dashboard and keep my eyes closed. Tell me how bad it is. Oh, see, we still got negative cash though, don't we? Still got negative cash. I don't know why, because it says that our stock percentage is at 80% of the account. So I guess I'm holding too much in these two, because these two are not in that calculation. So that's probably what I need to do, is offload maybe all my junk thing. That's 1138, right? So if I dumped that, maybe that would get that cash back underlined. All right, questions, comments. I thought this was kind of cool though, right? Kind of cool.
You know, my only concern is the wash sale. I mean, if you do it this often, that you can't take the loss if you rebuy it within 30 days. So I'll have to look at that.
Yep, you'll have to look at that, or do some type of account that, you know, would not be subject to wash sale. I think you're right. So I think, you know, maybe it's doing this once a month, right? But all I wanted to do is to go through it today so that you guys could see, you know, how the decisions were made, the time it took to, you know, to go through everything. So we started right at 1:30 or so, and it's 2:30. So we even explaining everything and showing you what I did. You know, we got it all figured in an hour. So if you're doing that once a month, that's probably adequate, right? So here it shows you where the horses that we're betting on, right? So who are we really betting on right now? We're betting on UDOW, right? He's our guy. He's our hero. Who is lagging at the end of the race that we don't think's got a chance in heck of outperforming? It's old Ugly, right? He's ugly. And then everybody else, what, this is our second place UCO, right? You can see all these different values here. Then it comes down to, you know, this guy here, TQQQ, and this guy. So it sees where you're, you know, your laggers and your leaders. So we've got leaders, we got laggers. Leaders, laggers. And if you got a lagger, then don't allocate as much money to him, right? He gets penalized. We're going to reward those that are outperforming. Beautiful. All right, questions at all? Now, the only thing I've got to do in my other account today, since I'm not really adding trades, is I've got to close, and I'll post this trade later, but what I've got to do is I've got to close We're up 241 today. So I've got to close some of one of my SPX trades today. So let's see. We got butterflies in here. We got all kind of stuff, but I got to close one of my Cameron Skinner trades today. Make sure I take that off. So I'll post that when I do, and I'll keep you updated on whether, you know, I think I'm definitely going over to Thinkorswim, but my deltas seem to have normalized a little bit today, so I'm not too far off. Still got positive Vega barely. When I take that trade off today, that should make my Vega go up a little bit positive, and we keep whittling down to get my buying power done. But this account's still doing good, doing fine. But I'm not adding the micro trades now until I make up my mind as to whether I'm going to Tastyworks for good in that account. All right, any questions at all? Anything at all?